Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out 5 countries that almost existed by geography now. Now the countries is in quotations. I don't know why. I assume that some of these are not actually going to be countries, but maybe something else, like for example some sort of alliance of 2 different countries, something like that. Maybe. We'll see.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another filler week because, you know, I gotta feed the flock with content. That's like what YouTubers do. Oh, by the way, you can get a Geography Now mug or Geography Now shirt at geographynow.com. Not selling out if it's your brand. I say that because, you know, in the past, some of you guys have accused me of selling out, and I kind of did to some brands that I wasn't really. Anyway, so we've done videos like this in the past.
Every YouTuber does that.
The shortest.
That's literally every YouTuber ever with every sponsorship they take. Pretty much the majority of sponsorships, the YouTuber promoting it doesn't give a damn about it. But it's free money, so of course they're gonna do it. I would do it. If some company wants to sponsor me, sure, I'll take their money. I don't care. I'll promote a product I don't care about. Money talks. I'll always do things for money.
Lived countries in the world, or like countries that don't exist anymore. I kind of find stuff like that fascinating. It's very interesting to see those stories of things that either could have happened or did happen but didn't really
historical
transpire,
what ifs
because
are
it tells
very
you a story
interesting
about the world and how the people in it think. So here's another topical video. I'm gonna call it countries that almost existed, because all of these countries I'm about to mention were countries that were only proposed but were never fully manifested. So let's jump into it. Oh man, my teleprompter's going fast. I gotta slow that down. I can't read that fast. I'm too stupid. First one, intermarium, meaning
Wait. Intermarium wasn't a country. It was an alliance. I guess that's why countries is in quotations, because this isn't a country.
between seas, intermarium, get it? Basically, Europe, World War I, post-World War I, they all had to kind of figure things out as the dust was settling. It was a big turning point. You know, Ottoman Empire was taken down, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, all these empires were like crumbling down. It was
Poland
crazy.
gained its freedom again.
The ever-growing Russian Empire that was getting a little concerning for all those in mainland Europe, Polish politician Józef Piłsudski proposed intermarium.
That pronunciation was not bad at all. It wasn't perfect, it's Józef Piłsudski, but it was good enough.
Which was sort of supposed to act as like a revival to the former Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, with a little extra extending all the way from the Baltics to the Black Sea to the Adriatic. He wanted to show his big guns to the Russians. It was propped up under the geopolitical vision of Prometheanism, or dismemberment and weakening of the Russian Empire and its acquisitions. If it was to happen, it would have made them the second largest country in Europe after Russia.
Well,
By the way,
it wouldn't have been a country.
I don't know why I'm holding it. Unfortunately, Piłsudski's vision was met with skepticism. The Lithuanians saw it as like a threat to their newly established independence, which wouldn't really last that long. And
exactly.
The Ukrainians saw it as a threat to their desired independence, which wouldn't happen.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't make any sense. How could Ukraine and Lithuania have seen that as a threat? You have the Russians as your neighbors. That's an even bigger threat. Man, imagine if intermarium actually happened. What a shame.
Eventually, all the territories within the perceived realm either fell to the Russians or Nazi Germans or Yugoslav forces, and you know the rest of the story. Number 2, let's talk about the Republic of Pontus. So, a little disclaimer, we've talked about the interesting social dynamics between Greeks and Turks on this channel quite a few times, so it's no shocker that another geopolitical incident gets brought up between them. Long story short,
does make sense.
Way back yeehaw in antiquity, Greeks inhabited much of the Anatolian Peninsula and left their marks. They were basically divided into 3 regional types: modern Greeks, Pontic, and Cappadocian. Around 800 BC, the Greeks established the Pontus region along the Black Sea coast in what is now northern Turkey, hence why they are called Pontic or Black Sea Greeks. Even during Ottoman Empire times, when it was conquered, it was pretty much left alone, and the Turks just kind of let them live their Greek lives being Greeks. Plus, the geographical layout with all the mountains made it more difficult for them to even really care. They're just like, look,
okay,
you're under
that
our
does make
domain,
sense.
but you do your thing. Ottoman Empire, kind of, mostly, until the very end, but we'll get to that later. Things did get kind of a little weird though when Greece actually gained their modern independence in 1830, and then they were left looking at all these detached Greek communities in the Anatolian Peninsula. You know, the remnants.
Well, I mean, they were obviously not going to get those as part of their own territories. This one, Izmir, this could have been part of Greece, you know, because it's close enough. But the Pontic region and Cappadocia were obviously never going to be part of Greece. They're too far away.
Remnants of their former empire past. It was like, hey, Pontus, Caesarea, Smyrna, how you doing? Okay, yeah, look, we're a fully recognized independent sovereign nation now. Oh, cool. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, you're Greek, just like us, and you're living in the lands that our ancestors had conquered a long time ago. Just saying. Yeah, but things are just, they're a little different now. Yeah, no costumes for that one, minimal effort. Fast forward to World War I, yeah, like we said, it was kind of a turning point for a lot of places in Europe. The Paris Peace Conference was held, and the proposed state was brought up, which would have made a detached exclave of Greece.
Post-World War I, we had a 20-year ceasefire. Not peace, a ceasefire. Everybody knew that war was gonna start again eventually. It was inevitable. The 20 years between World War I and World War II were just a very long ceasefire.
Which was weird. The plan was scrapped, and then Turkey went on the offense, and most of the Pontic Greeks were either expelled or killed. That is a topic that's going to open up another can of worms that we're not going to get into. Have fun in the comments if you want. I'm just saying what it is.
Oh god, no. Oh, no. It's fucking Greeks and Turks arguing? Actually, that could be quite funny to watch.
Number 3, the Fertile Crescent Plan. And yeah, in terms of the actual name of the country, they didn't even really fully come up with one. It was just called the Fertile Crescent Plan. They're like, yeah, we'll come up with a name later. This is just the plan. Now, this is an interesting one. So like, if you remember in the Egypt and Syria episodes, we talked about the United Arab Republic and how it lasted for only like 3 years, but like Syria still kept the flag for some reason. Anyway, well, this one is kind of similar. It was a proposed state by the Hashemite royal family,
Jordan,
or the Jordanian royal family, after World War II
for
the union between Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and areas of what are now considered Israel and Palestine. Nouri al-Said, Prime Minister of Iraq at the time, took the opportune moment to suggest it to the British forces when it looked like France was giving up on Syria. So he was like, now's our chance. Let's bring it to the Syrian forces. Unfortunately, when they heard that proposition, they didn't take it very well, and they kind of hated it. Pretty much they were opposed to it because it would A, require them to live under Hashemite monarchy, and B, the Hashemites were cool with working with the British, which the Syrians were not. Nonetheless, the Fertile Crescent Plan was still moving forward and negotiations were underway. Eventually, though, there was a coup d'etat in the 50s and the Iraqi monarchy was overthrown in 1958, and that kind of squelched all future plans for a Fertile Crescent Plan. It's always Syria that gets involved in these like pan-Arab drama moments in history, I swear. It's always Syria. Syria, man, you guys never get a break. United Bengal. So basically,
well, look what happened recently in Syria. Assad is gone, and that's a good thing.
40s, specifically 1947, India got independence from the British, and that's when things started to kind of move forward. Prime Minister of Bengal, this guy, Hussein Shahid Surawadi, he was at a press conference and addressed his proposition to disregard Bengal partition lines under former British control, and he made a plea to set aside the religious differences amongst the Bengali people for a united sovereign Bengal.
That was never gonna happen.
For those of you that are not too familiar with the situation, basically when India got independence, most of the Muslims migrated to the areas of what are now Bangladesh or Pakistan. The issue, though, was, unlike Pakistan, which was formed by multiple people groups, Bengali is actually an ethnic group with its own language, customs, and traditions. The majority of Bengalis in Bangladesh are Muslim, whereas the majority in India are Hindu. One people, Bengalis, but split amongst religion. So you could see this was the biggest source of the divide amongst them. Although they shared the same language, customs, and probably even genetic phenotypes, the partition was mostly based on religion. In his plea, Surawadi said, "Let us pause for a moment to consider what Bengal can be if it remains united. It can be a great country indeed, the richest and the most prosperous in India, capable of giving to its people a high standard of living, where a great people will be able to rise to the fullest height of their stature, a land that will truly be plentiful, it will be rich in agriculture, rich in industry and commerce, and in course of time, it will be one of the powerful and progressive states of the world. If Bengal remains united, this will be no dream, no fantasy." Now, as impassioned as his speech was, it was not enough to win all the Bengal Legislative Assembly's votes. It was a 106 to 35 vote in 1947, and later they voted to join Pakistan if the partition was implemented. So they were like, we gotta make a deal. If the partition stays, we will join Pakistan and become East Pakistan, and they become West Pakistan. And then we all kind of know how that went down. The Indian subcontinent, man. So many things happened here, it's crazy. But in any case, we gotta move on. Finally, Patria Grande, or the Great Fatherland. This was a very ballsy proposition coined in 1922 by Argentine writer and politician Manuel Ugarte. He gave lots of speeches across many countries in Latin America, and he was passionate about this movement. Basically, in the Hispanic world, we've seen many propositions for regional unions.
This is ridiculous.
For a short time, like Gran Colombia. Mexico even had an empire with Guatemala for like 1 year. And Central America, man, like they unified and they dismembered like 8 times. You never know what's gonna happen in that area. But this proposition was like the biggest one yet. Ugarte basically dreamed of every
You're literally trying to unite all of Latin America with the exception of Brazil and a few smaller countries.
Single Hispanic country to be unified into one state, stretching from the Patagonian coast all the way up to Mexico, including the Hispanic Caribbean. Now, today, the closest thing to this Patria Grande concept would, I guess, kind of be like Mercosur, which kind of acts as like a multinational cooperative union between countries in South America, including Brazil. I actually experienced this whole Mercosur benefit thing when I crossed over from Iguazu to Paraguay, Ciudad del Este. They didn't even bother to check my passport because they almost treat like land border crossings like they're just like states in the USA or like countries in the EU. It's like, we get it, you're part of us, just go, whatever. By the way, Iguazu Falls, such an underrated cool place. Diogo, my favorite Brazilian, my go-to Brazilian guy, thank you so much for taking us there and showing us around. Some former leaders of South American countries have actually entertained this union concept and have slithered it somehow into their politics, weaving it into their rhetoric. Today, however, the words Patria Grande are more often referred to just the concept of all Hispanic countries rather than an actualized political union between them. Even Pope Francis referred to Patria Grande in his prayer for Argentina on its bicentennial. In any case, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the Hispanic world is very crazy diverse and it's definitely not a monolith. Like an Argentine will have very little in common with like a Guatemalan, like a Chilean will have very little in common with a Dominican other than the fact that they both talk really, really fast apparently. I heard Chileans have like the weirdest accent. Like, you're better off learning Portuguese than Chilean Spanish. Anywho, in conclusion, there are a lot more other countries that almost happened or did happen, but for a short time, or I don't know. I just like doing these because it kind of tells a story of what people were thinking and considering at some point in time, and that can tell you a lot about how this world operates.
Yeah, out of all of these, the last one, Patria Grande, the union of pretty much all of Latin America, with the exception of Brazil and some other countries, is the most ridiculous one. It's the one that probably had the smallest chance of actually happening and becoming a thing, but I wonder how differently things would have gone had it actually happened. The one about Bangladesh was interesting. I didn't know anything about that, but apparently we could have had a bigger Bangladesh. Not that that would have really changed much. I don't think anything would have been different had we gotten bigger Bangladesh. But yeah, religion is a great way to divide people and make them hate each other. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here, and with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.